5 students then.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
So let's start by 20 on dot. So please use that opportunity to call every other person that's supposed to be in class before we start.
Okay.
All right, ma.
Are we back? Are we back?
Yes, ma.
Okay, good morning, everyone. At least we have tried our best to wait for them. I hope you try calling them so that they don't miss this first class. So we will not look like a magician when we continue with the other classes. This morning, I will only introduce us to different types of theories that we use in social work, and we grant them as advanced social work theory. They are not far from what we have been doing right from the time we were in our undergraduate level. But the only difference is that the way we explain and the structure is really, really different from what we do now. That's why we start this advance. But before we go further, and we introduce ourselves. I'm Dr. Kemi. Some of us have been meeting me before. I'm sure many of us in this class have been meeting me before. So I'm not new to anything.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning, everyone.
My name is social worker Kemi.
Okay. Where do you work, please?
With the Lagos State Judiciary as an assessor.
Okay. You work for me.
Thank you, ma.
Any other suggestions?
I'm trying to hear you well, ma. I'm not really hearing. I'm trying to use.
You have to change your position. Maybe that place you have, the network there is not well grounded. Except for a place that you can hear us very well in your place. Just move from one angle to another. You will be able to know which one you are hearing with. We are introducing ourselves. If I introduce myself, somebody else has introduced themselves. So we want you to introduce yourself. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, ma.
Yeah, with you. Introduce yourself.
Yes, ma. I'm not hearing well, but I can hear faintly. All right, ma. My name is Olanirete Comfort Adedugbe. I have worked in the home of victims of domestic violence and trafficking, but now I am the executive director of Hope in God Foundation, where we'll work with the less privileged, especially the widows. I'm glad to be here.
You are all welcome. Like I said earlier, in this class, we are going to do some basic theories in social work. But I'm trying to tell us that what we are going to do here is not really different from what we have been hearing since when we are in undergraduate classes. But the main difference is that we are going to treat the theory in a different way from what we have been doing before. And that makes the class to be very unique. So I want to hear your opinion. What are you expecting that we do well? What are you expecting that we will do well? I hope we all have our course appearance. If you don't, please make your course
Yes,
appearance.
ma'am.
We have all our course
Yeah,
appearance.
yes, ma'am. Though your voice is still a bit faint, and I've tried to move around, it's still the same. So, but
The problem is that I'm not feeling fine. So I'm talking as gently as I can. Are you hearing me now?
yes, ma'am, it's breaking.
So we try as much as possible to manage this together. Another student is in the class. Can you please introduce yourself? Kemi, you have the floor.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
Yes, ma. To join the class, I've been having issue with network, ma.
Everybody is having a very good speaking.
Why is it not speaking? Okay.
It's because of that. We every day we have
Hello? Hello?
so hello, please introduce yourself.
Okay.
Introduce
Okay, I don't know if I'm at the right place, ma, for the lecture.
what lecture are you coming into?
Okay. Doctor of social work, ma.
Yeah, the right place.
Okay.
Introduce yourself. No.
Sorry, ma. That's what. Okay. Akintunde Kemi, ma, from Babcock University, and already I have a master's degree in social work, as MSc social work, and I'm applying to be a member to join the class of Doctor of Social Work, ma. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you. I don't know about other students.
Okay,
Are we all
okay,
hearing
ma.
Olakemi?
Yes, Akintunde Kemi Teresa.
Yes. Are we all hearing her? Other people, please.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Yes, we are hearing.
Okay.
Audible.
I hope it's audible now. We are hearing ourselves.
Yes, a bit better. Yes, ma. It's better now.
Yeah,
It's better
yes.
now.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's better. Thank you.
I was not feeling fine, so I will not be able
Sorry, ma.
Oh, sorry about that. What's wrong with you?
to manage my direction. So when we talk about the advanced social work theory, like I said earlier, there are no theories that we are
Can you
not.
connect to the Bluetooth? Yes.
But the issue is that the the purpose of this class is for us to the application of theory. You know, we are new all speakers except mine. Again, help us to move us so that we can hear ourselves Are you hearing? Are you hearing?
Yes, ma.
What we have?
It's really breaking. It's really breaking. I'm not just speaking anything you are saying. I don't
Yeah,
know. Maybe it's the network. I've moved around the place I am and still the same.
yeah, where are you saying? Maybe you want to wait on that. Are you
Hello,
hearing?
ma. Hello, ma.
Yes, ma'am. Are
Yeah,
you
I'm
hearing?
in the car. But maybe I can hear that now. I can hear what you have just said, but I didn't hear before. I hope I will hear subsequently.
Are you still hearing now?
Yes,
better now.
better now. Very, very, very okay now.
It's okay. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
I was trying to
Yes.
use the speaker before so that you people can hear me because I want to be
Okay.
speaking quietly, but it's like the speaker is the one interfering in the something.
This one is much, much better, ma. Thank you, ma.
It's okay.
Thank you, ma.
Mm. So now, when we talk about social work theory, the essence of the advanced social work theory is to enable professional practitioners to be able to know the complex issues in the field of practice and with the evidence base of all the complex issues. So they will be able to look at different angles to tackle the social injustice so as to have the justice for those who are in need of it. So the main purpose of this is to navigate different models and methods of putting our heads together so that we can be able to work vividly as a social worker in the field of practice so that we will be able to really tackle every complex situations that we meet while we are in the field of practice or where we are in the field of research. And by the time we are very grounded in the area of this social work application, many of us would love to just on our own look at why are we having this peculiar type of social issues and what are the therapeutic interventions that we can put in place so as to really deal with all of these issues and then put together so many things so that we will be able to look at the impact of our practice within the environment, not just because we are social workers, but how we can consciously do an influensive motivational things so that all those social issues will be bring down to the barest minimum way so that we can have a society that is of less criminal, but we cannot say we can outrightly put off a non-criminal society is not possible. But then we will be able to look at how we can obey the norms and values of our community, of our environment, so that we have a better life or better way to go. So we will look at the psychodynamic theory. When we talk about psychodynamic theory, we are looking at how different theories have affected different issues right from when people are younger till which stand as a pivotal behavior for them till when they get into adulthood. And the formulas that could be used to reduce all of this right from that childhood to adulthood depend on when we come in to intervene in the matter, and why we need to put up researches that could help us to reduce such influence on the behaviors so that we have a very good and comfortable society. So in the psychodynamic class, we will learn a lot of theory. So I'm very sorry for my voice today, but I know that our next lesson will cover a lot. So in the psychodynamic class, we will learn a lot about different therapeutic interventions that addresses deep-seated emotional issues which could be removed or relieved from those who are having behavioral issues. Then we also look at the system theory. When we talk about system theory, we look at not just individual, but we also look at the environment, the society, the policies, the norms, the values that could be put together, which influence the lives of those that were brought to us earlier as deviant or defaulters of the law. So at that system theory, we'll look at different things. And for this class, we are going to be doing some assignments which will help us to read vividly, and then we will be able to match up with the challenges of the class so that by the time we start to write our proposal or project, we will not have issues. Then we'll also talk about the social learning theory. The social learning theory many a times are used in different disciplines. It's not just at the social work level alone. It is used at different disciplines, both in the social work, medical, and different other disciplines. So what social learning theory is only talking about is the importance of observation in learning. So this brings about imitation. Anytime you observe what somebody is doing, whether consciously or unconsciously, you imitate the person. And before you know it, you acquire this knowledge indirectly, and it becomes your new behavior without consciously thinking twice how impactful is it to the people around you or the environment where such behavior is put in place. So we will now look at the interventions that will encourage this positive behavior through the role model enforcement, which is one of those things that is very crucial and important to us when we get to the field of practice. So we also look at the critical theory. The critical theory is some of those theories that criticize and then advance for change society. So it's not just a theory that understands the individual or the society alone. It's a theory that points out at the structures when it comes to power, the inequalities that is in the society, even though we campaign for equality, but then many of us that are in the campaign of equality are even the people that are perpetrating that act of inequality. So we look at those acts of inequalities that are there, the status quos that are there in the society, and the way we advocate for social justice, and also try as much as possible to empower those who are not there and they need the empowerment so that the society can move forward. So,
Sorry, ma.
yeah, thank you. So here we talk about so many theories and we will end it with empowerment theory. Why the empowerment issue that we are shouting around these days is there. What brought about the empowerment? So those are the things that we are going to learn in the critical theory. We are also going to look at the humanistic theory. In the humanistic theory, there are so many things that are put together which talk about empathy, unconditional positive regard, and the therapeutic relationship that is there between the social worker and the client or the group of people that they are trying to help. Here we will look at some theories in community development and some other areas that are essential to us so that we can solve our problems and not just mere looking at the society, the people, and the self-actualization that is attached to the capacity of everybody. Then the ecological theory system, there we are going to lay more emphasis on the multiple layer of environmental issues that affect individuals, which starts from the immediate family to the social setting and the cultural context of what just a particular individual is facing in the life. So why some culture will not allow some people to go more than their effort and so many things like that. So we will touch that. We will talk about different models too and also look at some issues. There I will bring you so many of these case studies and models where you can practice and be able to know actually what really happened in some cases, because sometimes we treat cases based on what we call partiality. We don't really take ourselves out of cases. So the objectivity is not there. So we in this class, by the time we finish some of this theory, we will see reasons why many things are out of what we should be doing. Then we will also treat empowerment theory like I said earlier. And the empowerment theory we are going to treat now is going to look at interpersonal issues and the political powers of individuals within the community and the actions that will be put in place so as to improve the circumstance of such individual and the community. So by the time the social worker look at every individual, we think that they have self-determination, and then we think that, oh, that's what they love to do. They should go and do it without giving them the modalities of what is behind the empowerment, or putting in place what they ought to do so that they get empowered fully. So all of these are the things that we are going to treat when it comes to the advanced social work theory. Then when it comes to method, though we are going to have somebody that will teach case management with us as a class. So I will not really dwell too much on case management, but I will mention some possible things that we need to mention in the class. Why we should listen very attentively to the person that will treat us case management in the course. But what we are going to cook pound yam and look for egusi leaf and some fish to go with it, or the seafood okra, so that we can get more light in our field of studies, is the cognitive behavioral theory. The cognitive behavioral theory is more or less some of the basic things that put us here and there when we get to the field of social work, and why we are even called in the first place to come and practice. Because we in the aim of the methodology behind the cognitive behavioral theory is a problem solving approach method, which has to do with changing the behaviors of people and also change their way of feeling about issues. So the issues which ranges from depression to anxiety to disorders to marital problem and several mental illness that we are having in the society now, that we need to really deal with, so that the society can be free from these challenges, so that we don't have more mentally challenged people around us. If you look at yourself and your workplace, you see that some of our colleagues are already having depression, but because they are social workers, they cannot say it out. And before you know it, they started to have mental challenge, which could render them useless at the end of the day. And unfortunately, many employers are not ready to help them to solve this problem. Rather, they will lay them off so that they will face their challenges. I could remember when I was deployed to Ministry of Education, I have to write memo so that all those teachers that are having psychological issues could be attended to with the pulse, from the pulse of government, without touching their salary, so that they could also have a better life, to live a second chance in their life. So if people that are depressed, that are having anxiety issues, are not attended to on time, it leads to mental challenge, which could render them useless at the end of the day, and people will start running away from them, and before they know it, they might not be able to focus on their life. Then we'll also talk about group work. For many of us who are in the field, we always talk about casework, casework, casework. The group work, where we are going to leverage on the dynamics of the group. That's how the group can interact and change for better, so that this could foster their healing, their personal development, their socialization problem, and the skills that should be involved in group work. Then we'll also talk about the community organization, which I think another course in this your field of work, we talk about the community organization. So we should also listen very attentively to those lectures so that we can make a better meaning out of what we are here to do. Then we have the motivational intervention interview, which could solve a lot of problem. And the last one that we will treat is the solution focused brief therapy, which we use in the field to do a lot of changes and some other things is around us. So look at crisis intervention, which will be towards the last part of our classes, where we are going to treat conflict theory and crisis intervention. So we are looking at the psychotrauma and the biopsychosocial functioning of every individual and different society, and look at what we can do to help different things and solve problems and solve issues before it becomes problem. So with that, we will now move to advocacy. If time will permit us, we will talk briefly about advocacy. And then for some of us who really doesn't know, I will only mention how you can advocate as a social worker, what you need to advocate for, when it's time for you to advocate. That's what I will only treat with you in the class. Let me give you 5 minutes. If you have questions, ask so that we move ahead.
Sorry, ma. Please, ma, are we going to have the recording of the class, ma?
Yes, I think you are going to have it.
Thank you, ma.
If you have questions, ask before we move ahead. I will say congratulations to all of you. Now, the university we are working with, they have approved that when you do the DSW, you will do a year after collecting your degree. You will do a year at the university and also collect another PhD in social work, which is academic. So
Wow.
the style is our limit.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. That's good. Thank you, ma.
That's wonderful. Thank you for your
So
efforts, ma.
that was the wow we celebrated yesterday. So once we finish
Really,
our DSW, we can
we
put in
just do
our
1 year
effort.
for.
Wow.
So we just used a year in the university for
Okay.
work. So it now depends on us if the fieldwork can leave. So it's a year they give to us to work on our fieldwork, come back, and then they award us the PhD in social work.
That's a good one, ma.
Mm.
Thank
Well
you, ma.
done, ma.
Mm.
We are not just pushed aside as a DSW holder for professional. So we are granted to be a PhD holder, a professional doctorate holder too.
Okay.
So when
Wow.
we want to do our post-field, which is after the PhD in social work, they call it doctoral fellow.
Okay.
So it will be easier for us because it will cut the years of our studies. Instead of 3 years, it will just be 2 years or 1.5 years. Because of the double PhD degree you have. So if you have any question, let us ask now before we go to one or two theory we can treat for the day. Question, please.
ma, move ahead, ma.
Are we sure?
Yes, ma, because
For now,
you just
yes.
introduced the theories to us. So when you now begin to take it,
Did
with us
everybody
one
agree that?
after the other. Yes, ma.
Yes, ma.
It's okay. It's okay. Now, when we talk about psychodynamic theory in social work, we are going to look at the concept of psychodynamic theory. Psychodynamic theory is a type of theory that exploits how unconsciousness processes and past experiences, particularly from childhood, can influence our present behavior and relationship. Are we there?
Ma, please, can you come
We are
again, ma?
together.
And I'll go
Sorry,
buy
ma.
special drug for me.
No
Yes,
I say,
problem, ma.
mommy. Lord is your strength.
We are ready, ma.
so, so
Sorry, ma.
everybody was speaking what they cannot pick right from that undergraduate now. It's okay. Let me go back again.
Thank you, ma.
I say when we talk about the psychodynamic theory in social work, you know, we have psychodynamic theory in sociology and some other field. Now we have bring ourselves to social work now. That's why we are telling sociologists that we are the implementators of so many theories. So they are not superior to us. And I am really glad that many people are wakening up to that call now. So when we talk about psychodynamic theory, it is a theory that Madam Akitunde Folakemi, please off your speaker so that you can enjoy the class.
Okay.
Off the speaker. Once you mute the speaker, you enjoy the class. If not, there will be re-echoing. Just press on that mute button. Once you press on it, it will cross it. Then that's the first button on yes. Thank you. So when we talk about psychodynamic theory, it is a theory that exploits how the unconsciousness process and past experiences. You know, sometimes what we do unconsciously and we're scolded for it, and then we were beaten and we were given punishment that we did not expect, right from childhood. How it can influence our present behavior and relationship with people around us. That's why when you get to offices where social work services are being rendered, they will ask you some questions for those who have the experience. Where do you have your primary school? Where do you live before? Where have you done this? What are you doing? How is your family like? It's to bring out those unconsciousness and past experience in you, not because they just want to be asking jam questions. So psychodynamics theory helps social workers to understand the root causes of their clients' challenges. And once they understand these challenges, they have a very specific or some guides that could help them to make that self-awareness in their clients, and they will now be able to heal them. For example, now, you have a client, a colleague that is behaving in the office. He or she is seriously misbehaving. And you don't really know how to tell the person that, you are already having psychological problem. You don't know. That's why we call it psychodynamic. The psychological problem that can be changed. That's the meaning of it. So we will tell them indirectly, we'll be bringing people's issue. Let them be judging. By the time they are judging, you are not the one that is telling them they are mad. But by the time you leave their side, they'll say, this is my type of behavior. That means that I'm not feeling fine, or I'm not okay. It is an approach that emphasizes the importance of the past experience of the client and how impactful is this experience to the current situation of their client. That's why we call it psychodynamic. Sorry, this my illness is something else. I went under the rain yesterday, and I was enjoying myself. I
Can you
didn't know
imagine?
that it came in job that they already.
So sorry, ma.
Maybe you do.
Sorry, ma.
Maybe you do hot bathing therapy, ma.
I've done all the hot water therapy. As I'm speaking to you, I'm having 3 sweaters on. Èmi ò mọ̀ para mi ti darúgbó bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Mo rò bóyá àrùn funfun yẹn máa lè gba
Àgbà ti dé.
Àgbà ti dé o.
gbogbo òtútù yẹn. But ìgbà tí mo délé mo mọ̀ pé mo ti kóra mi sí yọnu o. It's really dealing with me.
Ẹ má
Not
bínú.
with me. Thank you, Uncle David.
Inú mọ́tò yín lò.
Okay, Uncle David, help us to mute your speaker.
So sorry, mommy. Okay, ma. Yes, ma.
Mute your speaker, please. That mute button is the first button on your left-hand side. So mute it.
Yes, ma. I will do that, ma. Right away.
So when we talk about the concept of psychodynamic theory in social work, the first thing that will cross our mind is the unconscious processes. After you are disturbing my class, I will keep quiet for you to do that before I will proceed. So the unconscious process are those theories that poses much about human behavior and the unconsciousness in them. Now, what are these stories we are talking about? If we remember the id theory, Erik Erikson theory, do we remember? How many of us remember all these theories I'm mentioning now? If you don't, you have to go and revisit them. Now, let me tell you about the id. That's just the one I will mention. But go and study Erik Erikson. Erik Erikson theory of development. You will understand what psychodynamic is talking about. But I just want to pick the id theory because of the social challenges we are having nowadays in the society. Now, many of the men have turned themselves to Shango in Yoruba land. This example I want to pick will cut across a lot of issues that we will mention in so many theories. So when I'm mentioning those theories, please be going back to this case study I want to put up to you. Because the men felt they need to be okay. There are so many problems under their coat, but to the society, they twist their hair, they make dada, some will even plait it, some will put earring. Bale ole oni bale ile o. Before you know it, their trouser has been sagged, half of their bum that is even very dirty is outside, and they are working with it, using one hand to pull it up. And they felt with this, they are in the current situation of what the society is, because we want to be like what the society is portraying. Now, the ego sets in. Ego will now ask you, why don't you behave like what others are doing so that you have your way? Is talking to the id. The super ego will say, that's the best too. Ego will now ask again, are you really thinking that that is the best? Why don't you look at the non-accepted part of this behavior or outfit within the society? Ṣebí lágbájá ṣerú ẹ̀, ta ló bá wí? Tàmẹ̀dù náà ṣerú ẹ̀, ta ló nà? Làkàṣègbè ṣe gan ó lọ. Sẹ́nétọ̀ kinní kan náà, òun náà di irun ẹ̀, kò sẹ́ni tó lù ú. So why am I not doing it? Then super ego will tell you, do it. Nothing will happen to you. Others are doing it. Then you do it. But the day that you kabuku, like our older aged parents will say, I hope all of us can speak Yoruba.
Yes,
Are we
ma.
all hearing me to
Yes,
the latter?
Oh, yes, ma. We are
yes,
hearing you, ma.
Yes, ma.
We are with
Okay,
you, mommy.
it's okay. Because I don't want to speak the language that you will not hear. I want everybody to get along with this case study.
Okay, ma.
Then, the day you will kabuku is the day you will get to somebody that will genuinely frown at your dressing mood and bring out that consciousness that you refuse to have on your head, on your id now, and say, David, kí ló sọ ẹ́ sí gbogbo pálapàla yìí? You now look at yourself and say, me, pálapàla. Akintunde, mute your speaker. You now look at yourself and say, èmi pálapàla. As old as I am, they are referring to me as pálapàla. Hi. Ṣé mi ò tí kọjá àyè mi báyìí? Àti ẹ̀gbọ́n pé tún dirun. Èwo tún ni ṣòkòtò wèrè tẹ́ tún fà sí bàbẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀dì? Ẹ̀rẹ́ ní báyìí ń wí lé ni. You know it's not just yourself now. They have touched your family. Ẹ wá ń rìn báyìí. Kí ni káwọn ọmọdé àdúgbò wa sọ ń pa yín? You have touched your society again. That's unconsciousness that is making you to misbehave will now come back to consciousness. And that is when you will now look at yourself. How many people have I been a useless role model to? If my children behave like this, how will I caution them to come back to their senses? Am I really a worthy husband? Am I really a worthy man in the society? Am I really a real good model to people that we're supposed to train and be a future of the society? That's when the consciousness will come back. So our work as social worker at that level of psychodynamic is to change that unconsciousness to become conscious so that we can get a good process to correct the abnormal behavior in our clients. So that is why we always say social workers are never meant to stick to a particular religion or belief. You should have knowledge of all the religious and beliefs around you. Do the one you feel is okay for you, but have the knowledge of all of them. So that when they are talking about something, you will not be a novice to that. Because you are a custodian of consciousness. And you must have a way of giving that consciousness to those who are unconscious. Am I communicating?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, those are the two theories you are visiting on unconsciousness, which has to talk about the development of children right from childhood. Now, I will discuss a little about Erik Erikson. I want you to go and read it more so that you can know it better. I pick the it theory because I want you to also look at it from that angle, so that when we are talking about the system and some other theories, you will be able to easily put your mind back to that and make it as a case study. Erik Erikson was telling us that what you give to your baby right from the time when the child is inside the womb is what you will get when the child comes out. And what you give to the child when the child comes out is what the child will give to you back when you are in your old ages. That takes us back to the dynamics of the family, because you begin as a child, you end up to be an aged person. You are going to die, and within the hands of your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, you have become a baby. Because sometimes God did not give us the gift of aging early. So that earth, some of the earth could be absent in our life when we are aged. So the love we did not give to the children while they are growing, they cannot give it back to us. The one that will give it to you if you don't give them love is the one that have the consciousness of, let me just do my best so that the society will not frown at me. And when they are doing it, at the back of their mind, they are doing it because they don't want the society to scold them. But they are not doing it willingly, because you are not there for them when they are growing up. So Erik Erikson says that if you are not even happy when you are inside, because as you are crying, your baby is crying too. For some women, they can testify to this. When the baby is moving and kicking and doing, and they tap and say, come on, come on, come on, sit down in one place, the baby will quietly sit down. Some children are very sensitive because they are facing the world while they are in your womb. It is your womb that is covering their face, but they are saying a lot of things. And some are hearing voices. So those voices they are hearing while they are in the womb is the first voices they want to hear again when they come out. Unfortunately, they come out, they couldn't see the father's voice again or the mother's voice again. So those are the things that Erik Erikson is passing to us. So as a child, you are feeding, you are breastfeeding, you are not smiling, you are crying. Your child will look at your face, tears is coming out. Before you know it, the child will also have tears in his or her own eyes. You are passing a message. So I will want you people to go and read that Erik Erikson. Go and read that theory very well. Go and read each theory very well. Don't just read it. Read and understand it. That is what can help you in this advanced class where we are. So because if you don't really read it, you might not be able to look at what we are looking at very well. Now, early childhood experiences. That's another part of the concept of psychodynamic theory in social work. There is more emphasis on the significant impact of early childhood experiences on the personality development of every individual when they get to adult. And this influences a lot of their behaviors. It influences a lot of their behaviors. Look at a child that went to public school where they always jump the fence, where they always abscond from school, where they always come to school late if the school is not very strict. By the time they get to adulthood, you will see them as legislators and they are climbing the gates of the legislative wing. It's because they can climb it. For somebody that doesn't have experience of jumping through the fence, what will now make you to stand and start climbing the wall when there's no fire on the mountain? So these are the things that we are talking about. A child that is always getting beaten while they are very young, when they grow up, unconsciously now, they beat people, they pass aggression because they don't know love. The language they were trained with is to harm others, to brutalize people. They are not trained with love language, so they cannot give it back to anybody. Are we there? So all these experiences has a lot to play in the life of many of us. And that is why in the field of social work, we have to be very careful. Look at stigma fraud. Stigma fraud theory is what you help me to please go and read very well. Here now. Read stigma fraud theory very well. Read and reread again so that you can understand what stigma fraud is talking about. If you stigmatize me and call me names, ìyá àjẹ́ ni, òun ló ń pọmọ jẹ. Even when I can save your child, I will tell the child, ó jẹ́ ya kú, torí bó ò tiẹ̀ kú gan, wọ́n ó pè mí ìyá àjẹ́. Ó kúkú dáa kó o kú, ọmọ ọba tiẹ̀ lọ. So if I know what can help you, I might not say, because even if I say it, nobody would take it from me. So these are part of the problems we're having in families. if you stigmatize your own aged parents as witch, as wizard, as people they cannot interact with, you will also grow old one day. Then your grandchildren will also stigmatize you, or even your own children. Your children will tell your grandchildren, in the family of my mother, they are witches. Even our own mother and our grandmother, they are witches. So how will you now come back and tell your own grandchildren that I am not a witch? Oh, but you called your mother a witch in the presence of your own children. So they will also call you a witch in the presence of their own children. So please go and read Stigma Fraud very well there, so that you will be able to understand what we call advanced social work theory. You can see that it's different from what we have been just studying. There are so many things that are deep inside it that we need to touch and know very well. Now, another concept of psychodynamic theory is the issue of defense mechanism. Many of us develop this mechanism to protect ourselves from maybe painful reward or threats or thoughts or feelings. Because we know that what we did is not good. People will shame you for doing the bad thing. Then you decide to tell lies. Are you the one it's not me. How can I do it when I'm not mad? And you are still telling lies. And you say you're not mad. Then within your consciousness or your conscience, you say, mi mo ṣe o, mi wà ní parọ́, máa jẹ́ kán sọ mí lórúkọ tí ò ń ṣe tèmi. Because you don't want to be stigmatized, you don't want to be called names, you don't want to be blamed, you want people to see you as perfectionists, you want to do this, you want to do that. So you will simply deny what you don't supposed to deny. So these are the things that the defense mechanism is talking about. So many of us, we always dare to look at things that will not give us names, and we want to go scot-free so that people don't tell us what is not and why it is not. So many of us, especially men, they enter this trouble in their 40s and going to 50s, mid-40s and going to 50s, when they think that the challenge of the woman in the house is too much, the second mother, they now want to go outside and enjoy their life with the third mother. Mr. David, why is your home very pronounced? They want to go and enjoy their life with the third mother. And third mother, while you are enjoying your life, you will tell her the weakness of first mother, the weakness of second mother in your life. But you don't know the weakness of the third mother. But you've told her the weakness of first mother and second mother. And before you know it, third mother will now grow to defend all those weaknesses of first mother. So no matter how crafty your mommy is, she cannot save you from bringing in the third mother. No matter how wicked, how stubborn she is, she cannot save you from bringing in the third mother. No matter how crazy your second mother is, her own is even by the side when she has dealt with the first mother. So dealing with the second mother is not a problem for her. So as third mother enter now, she will now be fire on the mountain, run, run, run for first and second mother. Unless they are very crafty and they accepted her, look at her own fault too and use it against her to kick her out of the house. Because once she enter, she will command you, she will control you, she will do all the things that you don't take lightly for first and second mother. She will now be control general. That is why you see men, when they enter that trap at that age, they don't easily get out of it. Unless the woman died or she misbehaved, and the whole family now, both first and second mother and third mother, every family now rise up to say, no. That's when you can get her out of your life. If not, you are joking. And that's what will make some men to be committing and committing and committing, even when they are not up to that task. They will continue to commit and put themselves in mess. So that's what they call defensive mechanism. And for them to easily say the truth before they commit that error, they will be defending themselves. If second mother say, you always come back home as, so I won't work again. And when the first mother calls, say, hey, your wife say you always come back late. Don't mind her. I'm working. I have to work. I have challenges in the family. The children have to eat. They have to go to better school. Our first mother will say, hey, God will bless your work. Hey, God will provide for you. God will continue to increase your costs. Without knowing that she's already causing you by saying your cost will be increased. Because when the cost increases, she might not be able to stand the challenges. And you have defended yourself from first mother because second mother reported you to first mother. And by the time first mother will know what is going on, she cannot defend you again. By the time second mother will cry back to first mother, I told you that he doesn't come home early. Now another woman has come with another child. Calm down. She will only be saying calm down because Omoye has gone to market without clothes on his body. And these are the things you will learn in dynamics of the family. When the communication is not going right again. When the communication is not going right again. When things are being done in the other way because some people want to have their way in the family. They want to be the breadwinner, they want to be the controller, they want to be this, and at the end of the day, they will not be able to take one task and do it successfully. So the whole family will be disappointed in them. That's what defensive mechanism process is all about. I think we are enjoying the class. Are we really understanding and enjoying the class?
Yes, ma. Sweet.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, that is all about defensive mechanism. Another thing that is in the concept of psychodynamics is the transference and the counter transference. That is a thing that you need to put in place to understand how your clients might transfer their feelings of the past or their relationship with one person in the past into therapist. Because if you don't get rid of this, you might not be able to counter transference. Transference is when you understand how the clients might transfer their feelings of the past experience to the present one. Now let's go back to dynamics of family and extramarital affairs again. I always speak case studies that will make you understand, because many of us have experienced this. We are not babies. That's why this type of lectures are not studied at undergraduate level. Now let's go back to the dynamics of the family again. If you meet third mother that have experienced divorce, experienced brutality, experienced negligence from the past relationship, it will be in this present relationship to gain all she has lost at the past relationship. And she will not mind to rob everybody, and even if people are going to die, they must die for her to gain what she wants to gain in this present relationship. That is why they become Mario in the life of those they enter. And if you remember that song of Mario, when we used to sing it when we are small, say, Nibi lo ma kusi, boya lo ma dele, Nibi lo ma kusi, boya lo ma dele. And you will be the one that will be working, and they will be enjoying, and they will be singing for you. Nibi lo ma kusi, boya lo ma dele. And so many a times, men will just come home, the home of the second mother, which is their first wife, and take 2-3 clothes and go vanish. Wàhálà ó ti pọ̀jù, ọmọ ó ti pọ̀jù, kíní kan ó ti pọ̀jù. At the end, you will go and meet third mother. That wàhálà ó ti pọ̀jù, you will do ×2 of it there, because you are going to train the children she's bringing from the other marriage. You also, the one that will even pity you will born one for you or two. Some will not born anything, no. Á lóyún àbàjẹ́. Oh, my husband, I told you that your mother is a witch. They have removed this pregnancy again. No. Then you stand up and take cutlass to go and cut the first mother if you are not very careful. Or even kill the second mother, because that one is still hot at home. Nobody ever say, you've come back again. What are you looking for? Instead of her to keep quiet, she doesn't know that they are coming to pass aggression on her. Then you slap her, and that could lead to her death. Because somebody is singing that Mario song for you somewhere. Ibi lo ma kusi, boya lo ma dele. Because of the feelings, the painful feelings she has gone through in the past relationship. So, as a social worker, if we don't connect those things, you might not be able to treat the present situation, because he or she must pass this aggression to another party. It also happens in men that have experienced suffering from some women they married in the past. So, if they don't want to marry another one, and then she's not really there for them, or she's even there for them, totally there for them, the experience they have in the past, maybe they have a cheating wife. So when they want to go out, they will give 205 command to the one that is at home. My friend, don't open that gate. My friend, nobody comes in for you. My friend, no relationship. My friend, no visitor. My friend, no this. By the time she's taking all of this, one day she will was and me oh shema. Go your way, let me go my way. So we have to be extremely careful when we are handling cases when it comes to family issue. That is another concept of the psychodynamic that we need to put in place so that we really understand what this study is all about. Are we really clear before I move further?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well, ma. Yes, ma.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Very well, ma'am.
I hope you are enjoying the class.
Ma,
Yes, ma'am.
ma.
Ma?
This case study now really explain a matter that I'm handling recently. Just the replica of what you have discussed so far. So the man initially he was coming back home. Really, it was even the maybe a girlfriend before. A girlfriend now have about 4 children for different men. So by one way or the other, the lady came in that he was asking for help from the man. So the woman at home obliged him. So eventually, the other one has taken over. Then when he comes home, the one at home will be fighting. Then will definitely go back there. Now is with the woman that has 4 children for different men. The woman has had 1 child for him now with another pregnancy. Then this other one now with 4 children, they are out there suffering, and we have been doing everything, and even it's getting escalating day by day. Initially said it would be paying school fees, even when they came, we're attending to them, said he will pay school fees and some other thing. By the time when he came back, he's not doing anything again. We have been trying. In fact, this is just this thing, the case study.
You can imagine that.
So, serious.
Even the house they just built, it was even that lady that the man moved there. Now he refused to pay the house rent for the woman that had 4 children for him.
Police man,
that's just initially was speaking my course. Maybe because I told him that we came from the same, so now he doesn't even pick my calls again.
I said that's the song they will sing. Ibi Lomakusi, Oya Lomadele, and he will be working. He will be working. He will be working. He will be using all his effort to work and work and work and work. Unfortunately, he will not know why he's not getting it right. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Then the shame of going back to where he's coming from would be a very, very big problem for him. So I have mentioned about 4 theories that you are going to take and read very well. They are very, very good for you so that you will really understand what we are talking about. If you don't read those theories, you might not be able to really pin out what I am really talking about now. So please, we need to read.
Hello, ma'am. Please, what's the 4th theory? You mentioned Erickson theory of development. Erickson.
Yes.
Then you mentioned heat theory. Then stigma theory. Which one is the 4th one, ma'am?
Sigmund Freud theory. Do you mention Sigmund Freud now?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Alfred Adler.
All right. Alfred
Adler. Yes.
Thank
then,
you,
if you can also pick the work of Anna Freud. Anna Freud is the wife of Sigmund Freud. In fact, the Fred family, they really work on the psychodynamics because they are one of the first psychologists that they have in America. So they really work on this, and they are very good at it. So we have talked about the consciousness and unconsciousness. What again? Please remind me the area I have covered so that I will really know.
You talked about the defense mechanism, transparent and counter-transparent. I think those are the
Transparency, okay, and counter. Now,
yes.
the last but not the least of it is the instinct fear. The instinct fear is what makes people to stay where they are, and unconsciously they die there. The instant fear made them to stay where they are, and unconsciously they die there. Unconsciously they die there. And why are they dying there? They die there because of the past behavior, misbehavior that they have put in place. And this one really sink them because they cannot go to the first mommy again. They have lied to first mommy. And many a times, when this case was going on, within the 2 decades, which we learn in dynamics of family, many of these first mommy died and their husband too died. So men has to be very conscious, and even some women too. When they are putting up this mad behavior, by the time it gets to the head of their parents, it brings out a lot of uncomfortable health issues, which eventually kill them. But they will not be able to mention it. That's why you will see when some parents pass on, some siblings are unable to forgive some other siblings because of the trouble they have made their parents to pass through, which led to their untimely death. And mind you, if men are not okay before that age 40, 45, they don't misbehave. They always cut their coats according to the type of clothes they want to wear. They are always very serious. But once they are very fortunate to be able to make it before that 40, in fact, before they are 45, you will see them with the second wife, which is the third mommy. And third mommy will not sing any song to them until Ibi Lomakusi, Boya Lomadele. So this instant fear will not make them to go back home because of the selfish motives they have made in the past. And those people they want to go back to meet, I have warned them and warned them and warned them. And many a times, if they are to come back home, it's either they bring them when they are already having stroke, or they have health challenge, or they don't have anything on them, and third mommy has left them for another man. And people around don't want them to just die like that. Maybe people around just pity them. Man, you the rebel, but mommy they will now bring them back to second mommy house because first mommy must have gone then. And you will see many of them at Surulere, they are grinding pepper. Daddy, I fell lot. Say, Mombo. and some of them were unable to grant pepper again. Rather, they are sleeping in the house, bedridden, and regretting their past and waiting for the day God will call them to order. So I hope we have make something out of today. We
Oh,
still
yes,
have
ma.
about, we
Yes,
still
ma.
have about 10 minutes more to do some things. Now, how do we use psychodynamic theory in social work? Now, the first thing we do is assessment. We use psychodynamic theory to assess our clients, to look at the emotional states of where the client is. We look at the relationship of the client with other people around them and the potential unconsciousness and conflict that is in the life of the client. Am I communicating?
Yes, ma.
Now, this will lead us to go and read personality theory in psychology. By the time you are touching all these things I am telling you now, write it down. You will see that you will be a very good social worker at the end of the day. So it will lead you to personality theory, to know what personality theory is all about. That's why some people always ask me, are you a robot? I will just look at you and go, you can abuse me from morning till night. I won't say Pam. It's just telling me about what you are, what you are passing through in you. You are having trauma, you are having emotional depression, and so many things. Because if you don't have, you cannot just stand and start behaving like a mad person, and people are passing and they are looking at you.
Okay.
I hope I'm communicating.
Yes, ma.
So that is that about that. So we now look at this intervention, how we pass through intervention. What are the goals that we want to put down to pick that unconsciousness in them? And what are the process of doing this? So we need to really understand how their past experiences has influenced their present experience. And we now develop a healthier coping mechanism for them. If not, some of them go into mental illness and is unresolvable. They go into mental illness and it's unresolvable. Unresolvable in the sense that by the time they enter it, nobody is doing them, but they want to kill everybody around them so that they can just have free mind and nobody is querying them again. Nobody is talking about their past with them. That fear, that's so many things around them will make them to misbehave. And the last thing about how to use psychodynamic theory is the therapeutic relationship. So we have to build a strong therapeutic relationship, which could be very, very important to facilitate the awareness, the self-awareness we want to build in them, and that can help us to maintain that change that we are really, really working towards. So please, So in the field of social work, psychodynamic theory is one of the theory that brings out the framework for us to understand the complexities of human behaviors and also facilitates a meaningful change by exploring the unconsciousness process and the impact of the past experiences on their present experiences. So I'm waiting for questions before we call it a day. We have just about 5 minutes more. Sorry, I'm not feeling fine today, but the next class we will do more than this.
Ma,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, under this psychodynamic theory, no, at a point we're discussing part of the concept. So we're saying that that at times our behavior will always be replicated by our child. Then where is the place of hereditary? Probably we inherit it from them or whatever. So I want us to.
No, ma'am.
I want. Yes, ma'am.
Hereditary will not come in, ma'am.
Okay.
We can only look at the behavior, learn,
okay,
do it the way they are doing it,
okay,
and
okay,
perfect ourselves to do more. Hereditary will only come in if it has to do with traits. You know what they call trait theory?
Yes.
Okay. Traits
The
is different from psychodynamics.
Okay, ma'am. Because the reason I'm asking is that when one of the examples that we cited, I was like, probably if a behavior can be replicated, because at times there are some traits that is seen.
It is learned.
Okay.
It's imitated.
Okay.
You learn it, you observe it, you imitate it, and you do it, and perfect yourself with it. Mm-hmm. But if it is traits, it is in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
It is in you. Like somebody is stealing, the child will steal too. Apart from learning it how to steal, even if you don't see your father before or your mother before, if you have the traits in your blood, wherever you are, you will do it. Trait is when you have a child. Maybe you have experienced that. Your husband is sleeping with one side. By the time you go to the bed of your child, not in the room where your husband is sleeping, the child will also sleep that way.
Yeah, exactly. That's straight.
As if they are cone. That is straight.
Yeah.
If they want to eat on the table, your child will pick bread the way your husband will pick it. Will speak the way your husband will speak. That's straight theory.
Straight. Okay. Thank you, ma, for the clarification.
Yes, thank you. Any other person? We have 2 minutes more. You have the floor. Don't let 2 minutes go on use. Can we call it a day?
Okay, ma. So we will go and read more on those theory, and from
Please.
the from the examples that we have been looking at, it is really happening in society now where the father will not be able to take or do his responsibility. So with this, it has really make it clear the reason why and how to, at least as a social worker, when we want to intervene, what we can do. So actually, I really love this all these theories. So in fact, it has really, I don't know, at least opened my mind to some other issues that we can also find in the life of the young ones, maybe students, okay, like me that is in school. So it's a good woman.
So thank you, everyone. Till we meet
Thank you
again.
so much, ma. Yes, ma.
You're welcome.
Take care of yourself, ma.
Yes, ma'am. Take care of yourself and be good. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma. And have a great weekend, ma.
I'm trying.